Yo, it's King of the Ring Boxing, back again with a new video. Looks like clean cut choir boy Joseph Parker isn't as clean cut as he's made out to be. Obviously, if you look at interviews, if you look at how other people talk about him, they always tend to say he's a really nice guy, very harmless and very friendly. But news just broke that he hasn't been charged, but allegedly he was part of a drug syndicate. So I'll just read you the news. Just gonna read it off my phone, just so I'll give you accurate information. So, during a major 2019 trial in which 3 men were found guilty of various charges relating to importing methamphetamine from California and the wholesale supply of the Class A drug in Auckland, the Crown said that Parker was connected. Parker was never charged by the police. Despite police being granted a warrant to search his house, they chose to not execute it. The Crown's evidence against Parker has never been tested in court. He always denies the allegations. Despite that, the Crown alleged at trial that Parker bought methamphetamine and talked to one of the convicted trio about finding a supplier. He was also identified as being the source to exchange New Zealand dollars for US currency to enable the group to buy drugs. Parker has always maintained his innocence, and he says, I've never ever changed or transported money for the defendants. I've never been involved in the purchase, supply or consumption of methamphetamine. So there you have it, folks. So what do you think? I've got a boy in New Zealand, and he's been telling me that before Joe actually started boxing, at like house parties and stuff, he used to be quite aggressive. He used to start fights and stuff and things like this, and to be honest, quite shocking, because I think everyone sort of unanimously agrees that in the ring, Parker doesn't really have that mean streak in him. He does have like a come forward style, but he hasn't got that killer instinct in him to sort of empty the tank, let it all on the line. Like, he seems a bit sort of tentative, like doesn't seem very confident. But then you got outside the ring, he's allegedly supplying methamphetamine to New Zealand drug cartels from all the way from California. So it is very surprising. Does anyone have any more information on this? Like, anyone who watches from New Zealand or Australia, do you know anyone connected to Joe Parker or his boys who got arrested? I mean, he didn't deny that he didn't know these people, so I'm guessing that they are his friends. And I think that does give a sort of indication as to, was he involved, was he not? I think that does give a indication towards whether he was. But he's never been trialed in court for it, so at this moment in time he's an innocent man. But it's just very surprising considering his persona on camera, in interviews, even his persona in the ring. Even in this recent fight against Junior Farr, I don't think he didn't show that killer will. Like, he didn't show the sort of the mental intangibles that someone who is involved in crime or has been supplying these types of Class A drugs to their mates to sell on the streets whilst he gets a cut. Like, he didn't display those sort of mental intangibles in the ring, like as you'd expect someone from that background would, and especially since he's an islander as well. From what I've heard, obviously in the UK there's not many islanders here, but from what I've heard about the islanders in Australia, New Zealand, they seem to be quite tough. They do have that sort of killer edge to them, but it just seems to be lacking from Parker in the ring anyway. But outside the ring, seems like a completely different person. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, do you think that he was involved, or do you think that it's just that he was mates with these people and he's the famous guy in that circle, so it's quite easy to sort of news and reporters from the court to make it a bigger thing by involving his name into it? Or do you know any sort of underlying information that's not been made public that you just know from word of mouth? Because obviously I only know that he used to like fight at house parties and things like this because I've got a friend in New Zealand and he told me about this. So that sort of gives me an insight to what sort of person Joseph Parker is. But Does anyone know anything else? Leave in the comments below. Like, do you know if he was involved in, like, even before boxing, like, was he involved in drug dealing? Was he like a local shotter? Don't know what the term would be for New Zealand. Obviously, I'm expecting a lot of New Zealanders and Australians to watch this. I don't know what the word is for shotter and like the slang term is over there. Just like a local drug dealer. Like, was he doing that type of stuff? Let me know in the comments below. It's a bit of a different video today. More reporting on background news of a fighter rather than the fighter or a fight that's coming up. I just thought I'd touch up on this topic because of the fact that Joseph Parker doesn't really show this side of himself, this mean streak to himself inside the ring, but it seems like he does have one outside the ring. I found it an interesting contradiction that he's different in the ring where you're meant to fight, or he's chosen, you know, his profession to be a fighter. He doesn't show his mean streak there, but outside the ring he potentially does. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Obviously, as always, like, share, comment and subscribe. It's King of the Ring Boxing, and I am out.